healthy. Fresh 14 for the Lakers. LeBron! Look out below!
Oh my Lord!
Is this ever going to end? LeBron James and his absolute stranglehold on professional basketball? At this point, the only rational conclusion is that LeBron has somehow hacked into the matrix and placed himself completely beyond the reach of aging. This is his 19th NBA season, and the man is still operating as one of the most dominant players on the planet. That is simply not how this sport is supposed to work. 99% of NBA players crest somewhere in their mid to late 20s, then gradually slide backward as the years accumulate, eventually becoming a liability to their roster before riding off quietly into retirement, satisfied with what they built and ready to let it go. LeBron refuses to participate in that arc. He is fighting the passage of time as though he has a deeply personal score to settle with it. And the more these jaw-dropping accomplishments continue stacking up, the more an uncomfortable but unavoidable question forces its way into the conversation. One that frankly demands to be addressed. Is LeBron James the greatest basketball player who has ever lived? And if the answer is still no, what exactly would he need to accomplish to make it undeniably yes? This conversation needs to happen because what LeBron is doing at this stage of his career has moved well past impressive and landed somewhere in the realm of genuinely absurd. Right now, the GOAT debate has essentially produced three distinct camps. There are the people who believe Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. There are the people who believe LeBron holds that title. And then there are the people who are simply wrong. And yes, that is a joke, but only partially. Roughly 75% of the basketball-watching public lands in the Michael Jordan corner. About 20% plants their flag firmly in LeBron's camp. The remaining 5% argues for someone else, usually Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and they will defend that position with every ounce of energy they have. Now, for the majority living in MJ's corner, the belief is not just that Jordan is currently the GOAT. It is that nothing can ever change that. But is that actually true? Is there any objective standard, any measurable threshold free of opinion and bias that LeBron could realistically clear to settle this debate once and for all? If LeBron somehow collected 4 more championships and walked away with 8 rings total, the conversation would be over, right? So pathways do exist, but where exactly does that threshold sit? And what would it take for LeBron to cross it? Let's start by examining the foundation. When you lay the basic career numbers side by side, LeBron holds the advantage over Michael Jordan in career points, rebounds, assists, blocks, triple-doubles, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage. Jordan, on the other side, leads in career steals and free throw percentage. But here is the critical caveat: the career totals argument, while compelling on the surface, primarily demonstrates LeBron's longevity and his ability to sustain excellence across an extraordinary span of time. Those numbers do not establish that LeBron is a superior scorer, rebounder, defender, or shooter compared to Jordan. They establish that LeBron has been exceptionally good at all of those things for a very, very long time. They also highlight what may be his single most valuable quality: his versatility across every dimension of the game. So rather than anchoring this analysis in career volume, shift the lens to career averages. Jordan leads in points per game and steals per game. LeBron leads in assists and rebounds per game. And as uncomfortable as it is to admit, this is typically where the GOAT argument reaches its ceiling for most people. Add in the obligatory reference to their respective finals records, and you have assembled a fairly representative version of how most of these debates unfold. But there is considerably more to examine beneath the surface. So let's keep going. Advanced statistics do not narrate the complete story of any player. But when you know which ones carry genuine weight, they surface nuances and distinctions that pure observation alone cannot always reveal. 6 metrics in particular cover efficiency, production, value, and impact in a way that paints the fullest available picture. Player efficiency rating, win shares per 48, offensive box plus minus, defensive box plus minus, value over replacement player, and true shooting percentage. Across those 6 categories, Michael Jordan outperforms LeBron James in 5 of them. He is more efficient overall. He contributes to more wins. He generates more points for his team. He is more impactful on the defensive end, and he delivers greater overall value on the floor. The single advanced metric where LeBron surpasses Jordan is true shooting percentage. By nearly every measurable standard, The data points toward Michael Jordan as the superior basketball player. But look closely at those numbers. What is genuinely striking is not the gap, but just how narrow it is. LeBron sits just a fraction behind Jordan across virtually every category, which makes the comparison remarkably tight. What these numbers do not address, however, is the broader question of greatness, because that conversation requires accolades, accomplishments, and cultural impact to enter the picture. Strip away the rings, the influence, the intangibles, and the subjective opinions, and the objective data suggests Michael Jordan was the better basketball player. But the GOAT debate was never purely about who played better. It has always been about who was the greatest. And those are two meaningfully different questions. So there is still more to unpack. A complete and honest GOAT debate cannot exist without a thorough examination of what each player actually accomplished. Numbers serve a purpose, but in isolation, they're not proof of greatness. They're simply a vehicle that carries a player toward it. That is precisely why James Harden, despite spending the better part of half a decade producing some of the most staggering individual scoring numbers in NBA history, does not rank above players who put up far more modest offensive figures. The numbers enhance the accolades, not the reverse. This same logic explains why Wilt Chamberlain can be considered the more gifted basketball player compared to Bill Russell, while Russell can still be considered the greater one. Wilt's greatness lived in his statistics. Russell's greatness lived in his contribution to a culture of winning that simply refused to stop. With that framework established, the accomplishments of both Michael Jordan and LeBron James deserve direct comparison. The categories that carry the most weight on any player's legacy are championships, finals, MVPs, regular season MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year awards, All-NBA selections, and All-Defensive Team selections. Across those 6 categories, Jordan outperforms LeBron in 5 of them, and he achieved everything he achieved across just 15 seasons compared to LeBron's 18. The one category where LeBron has the edge is All-NBA selections, and most analysts will argue that this distinction reflects longevity more than peak supremacy, which notably has emerged as the defining theme running through this entire conversation. At this point in his career, the majority consensus places LeBron a step below Jordan in terms of overall greatness. That reality transforms the race for the GOAT title into a genuine marathon, because eventually, the cumulative weight of LeBron's numbers and achievements may grow so overwhelming that conceding the title becomes unavoidable. And that tension sits at the very heart of this debate. Here's something worth saying plainly. As LeBron continues playing, his legacy grows stronger with every passing season. The opposite, arguably, would have been true for Michael Jordan. This is not presented as fact, but the evidence strongly supports the conclusion. Michael Jordan walking away from basketball after 13 NBA seasons in 1998 was, in all likelihood, the single best decision he ever made for his legacy. The Bulls were not positioned to win another championship. The core of the dynasty he had constructed had effectively dissolved by the time the 1999 season arrived. Had he remained active through that 3-year retirement window from 1999 to 2001, the options available to him were neither flattering. Staying in Chicago and posting enormous individual numbers on a losing team, or departing for a new franchise in pursuit of more rings. Neither path carries the same legacy weight as exiting at the summit, on the team that drafted him after a 6th championship. Jordan's career was genuinely the product of perfect conditions converging at the perfect moment. He landed with a franchise that was fully committed to constructing a team around his specific skill set. His roster complemented his game exceptionally well, and the Bulls reached their dynasty peak precisely as the dominant organizations of the 1980s and early 1990s, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Pistons, began their decline. You could not have scripted a more ideal career trajectory if you tried. LeBron, by contrast, despite everything he has accomplished, was repeatedly handed difficult circumstances. His first 7 NBA seasons were spent with a franchise that showed little genuine commitment to building a coherent, competitive roster around him. He then faced 4 consecutive finals appearances against the most suffocating dynasty modern basketball has produced outside of Jordan's Bulls. While Jordan was surrounded by players who collectively bought into a unified system, LeBron spent significant portions of his career carrying rosters of varying quality, some of which, it must be said, he had a hand in assembling to his own detriment. These details matter because the GOAT debate is fundamentally a nuanced one. As loudly as some fans insist that Jordan's 6-0 finals record is the beginning and end of the conversation, it simply is not. If championships alone determined greatness, Bill Russell, with 11 rings, would be the undisputed GOAT. But the counter-argument, there is always that he played in a different era. So that should not count. Fine. Then by that logic, Robert Horry, with 7 rings to Jordan's 6, becomes the conversation. But Horry was never the best player on any of those championship teams, which changes the calculation entirely. So is the argument about rings, or is it about being the most dominant player on the floor? Or is it some combination of both? And does a masterful individual performance carry any diminished value simply because the team came up short in the end? The deeper you excavate this debate, the less clear the boundary lines become. No single metric can resolve it. Working through every layer and every detail is an unavoidable and necessary exercise. But it is also one that most fans simply do not have the patience or the appetite to undertake. Where does all of this land personally? Right now, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player in the history of this sport and also the best basketball player in its history. Those are two distinctions that currently belong to him. But unlike a large portion of the fan base, the door on LeBron is not closed. Not even close. If LeBron continues to dominate this league for several more seasons, and if he keeps redefining the outer limits of what a single NBA career can contain, he has a genuine and realistic opportunity to retire as the greatest player this game has ever seen. But of course, only time holds the final answer. And for LeBron James, somehow, remarkably, and against every conventional expectation, time keeps appearing to be on his side.